We watch the clouds roll in from the veranda. Mum and Dad sip at champagne flutes from fold-up camping chairs while we jitter around the deck, bouncing off one another like tiles off the side of houses. The darkening blotch hovered on the horizon before closing in, eventually engulfing the island out in the bay, and then the cape, and then everything else, until all you could see was the dim glow from the streetlight on the corner, highlighting wildly swaying branches. My sister says they look like ghosts. I say she sounds ridiculous. The wind picked up on Thursday, blowing northwesterly hard and full of promise. The air pressure dropped around Friday afternoon, which we knew because that's what it said on the evening news, but we felt because everything was muffled and the air was like breathing treacle. It made our ears go funny, so we had to keep yawning, and the neighbour's baby wouldn't stop crying. Soon a dog joined it, so they were both barking and crying and screaming as the black cockatoos flew in beak-shaped flocks decidedly west. Mum and Dad hang over their phone screens, looking at the images of the storm from space. It's both more and less impressive on the tiny screen. The colours radiate out, fanning lurid hues across what I assume represents us. Right in the middle is bright purple, like a bruise. My sister calls them storm dragons, and I tell her that they're called cyclones, but she doesn't listen. Each of its arms hug the coast, or perhaps their wings. They're beating, but there's no rhythm to it. Punishing downdraft, gushing updraft. The neighbour's satellite dish goes flying. We ooh and ah appropriately. We're less amused when a palm leaf torn from its socket lands on the roof with a bang. Mum and Dad inch their chairs a little closer to the door. It goes on like this for hours, the vacuum of air and hissing rain. Gradually, it's not just rain flying, but branches from tiles from roofs and garden furniture. Something silver that might have been a fish gets deposited on the front lawn before being sucked up again with the rest of it. Shingles strike at houses like dislodged scales, biting into the wood and wedging deep in the grain. We hear others shatter windows somewhere below us, and the high-pitched keen of a house inundated with wind and rain and a distant crash of furniture blowing over as the rest of the windows give way to the pressure of it all. Then suddenly, it stops. That's probably an exaggeration. Everything's been snuffed out like a candle, but it's still smoking. The wind's a dull roar in the distance, and the trees sag under the weight of rain, but they're standing, not falling. There's no leaves, no branches, no washing machines being hurled around. Everything goes not quite still, but waiting. The storm is gone. The darkness casts the edges of the giant hole that is open up in the sky. The eye is different to the rest of the storm. We peer out from under the rain-swollen gutters at it and creep onto the lawn. The ground is spongy and squelches underfoot, and we leave behind tiny footprints as we dodge around a fallen gum tree. Its trunk is red and oozing and looks like broken matchsticks that giants might play with. The wind isn't quite gone, more a whistle than a howl. My hair gets stuck to my face with the rain, and it worms its way into my eyes so I can't see properly. I wipe it away with my elbows and I look up. I look at the eye, white, lifeless pupil, and the eye looks back. It barely sees me. Instead, it looks at the butterfly clip in my sister's hair. Golden loops and gems laid into the curves, even in the gloom, it shines. My sister stops still, transfixed, and there's a sound like thunder, a roar from a behemoth that's mad and hungry, and the white flash of jagged claws. And then my parents are yelling, and I'm staring at the spot where she disappeared. They're yelling at the storm and yelling her name, but it gets lost in the wind. The air smells like fire and brimstone. In the morning, the path of destruction is indiscriminate. The land is compressed as though stepped on by some great beast. Trees are snapped, houses torn apart. There are turtles and fish and weeds plucked from the sea, held miles from their watery beds. They lay among the wreckage, unmoving. My sister is not with them. Now when it storms, I go running. It feels like the right time to go running, like there's something to be running from. I watch the clouds roll over the bay and onto the cape, and I run down to the beach where the ocean hurls itself into the sandbanks and spits salt into the air. I always wear a watch, metal, the only one I own, and I never wear otherwise because it doesn't fit me right. My parents would have grounded me forever if they noticed. My parents won't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it either. I just want to talk about something to break the silence. So I go running with my watch when it storms. I want to attract its attention. I want it to see me. I know that metal conducts electricity, or maybe it's just because dragons like shiny things.